the simplest way to listen to the music you and soon he will love. New customers start your 30-day free trial at amazonmusic.com. Renews automatically, cancel anytime. Required listening with...
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're still talking about the 4 agreements. Now, with the 4th agreement, so far we've talked about number 1, be impeccable with your word. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make assumptions. Now, the 4th one is something that we have all been told throughout our lives, always do your best. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Always do your best. I assume I always do my best. Remember, we're supposed to be challenging those assumptions. So with always do your best, what that focuses on is to, instead of, as I started to talk about a little bit with don't make assumptions, instead of trying to chunk things up as far as how am I supposed to receive from this person the assumption, instead of having that filter and therefore having those high expectations, you take that away. And in that moment by moment, you make sure you are doing your best in that moment, in your interaction, in the use of your words, in your behavior choices, in the way you think, in the way you think about yourself, in the way you speak to yourself. Always do your best. So it's really causing us to say, always be mindful. Be mindful of where my headspace is. Be mindful of what my spiritual pull or stress is. Be mindful of my physical health. Be mindful of what expectations or assumptions I may be working out of. Be mindful of how I'm receiving from this person, and be mindful of how I'm using my words in this communication. So mindfulness is such a big piece of what we all need to tune into on a very moment by moment basis. And when I say moment by moment, I literally mean moment by moment. So many times we make plans in our life that puts things in big chunks. So we're looking at, okay, in 6 months, I gotta do whatever. And that's the goal, and that's fine. But we don't, every day up until that 6-month mark, we're not looking at, okay, so what small progress have I made toward this mark? What small steps have I made toward this mark? What we want to do is leap and bound and be there. With that leap and bound and be there, we lose so much of what we can learn in those small moments, that even though you might reach the goal at 6 months, there was so much frustration and tension and chaos in getting to that 6-month period that you really miss the mark on many things. Now, sometimes what that causes, is for us to think, well, dang, this is not where I'm supposed to be in life. This is not the goal I should have. This is not what my outcome should look like. And really what it is we as people do not take the time to look at moment by moment, where am I? What can I learn about myself in this time, in this space, in this portion of where I am in this reaching this goal? It doesn't mean, especially for my Christian folks, it doesn't necessarily mean that, well, God didn't even want me to be a nurse. I didn't set up here and pushed and rushed and this, that, and the other, and he didn't want me to be a nurse. He wanted me to be something else, or he didn't want me to move out of state. He wanted me to stay where I was. But see, if we were to take our moment by moment look and identify, what can I learn about myself right now? In each conversation that you have, as much as possible, because many times we don't have that time that you may need after a big, huge conversation. But think about what did I actually learn about myself in that conversation, especially in the difficult ones. And for instance, in processes that we go through every day, I would encourage everyone to take time to yourself and look back over your day, over your work day, over the interactions. And today, what did I learn about myself? Sometimes you may get to the end of your day, let's say your work day, and realize, oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do. I'm stressed out. And in that time, look back and say, what can I learn about myself? What can I learn about what was going on? The way I responded, the filters I may have had, the high expectations I may have had. What can I do to challenge those to make it different? What did I take personally in an interaction? Did I actually use my words impeccably? In those mindfulness moments, what it allows us to do is, instead of pointing out at everyone and everything else around us, it can cause us to reflect within and look at the places that need to be mended, cleaned, repaired within ourselves. And therefore, whatever energy you have that's holding on to you that's negative, you can release that, because you said, okay, let me recharge, refocus, reset, and go out and do this again in a different way. And that's what one of the keys is, to always do your best. Take time. In the process of, like, for instance, big, huge decisions you have to make. There are some decisions that we can actually give more time than what we give. But because we often may have a mentality of, oh, I got to hustle, I got to get it, I got to make this pop, I got to make this happen, I got to do it right now, right now, right now. In that attempt to try to do the right now, right now, right now, we lose so much focus on why. Why does it have to happen right now? Is it a life or death situation? So therefore, yes, you do need to make a decision. Is it I'm trying to show other people that I'm actually out here hustling and working and getting all these goals met? Because sometimes, and let's be honest, we will do stuff just to show people that, oh, I'm on my hustle, I'm on my grind, I'm on my come up. This is my glow up. And really, some of those folks you're trying to show it to really could care less. Many of them could care less. Because the thing is, if it was a person that was really supportive and that wanted to see you grow, any growth at any point in your life is growth. And they would tell you and encourage you, take your time, make your moves in a mindful manner. Think about them, meditate on them, pray about them, find out the process and break that process down in a way in which it's going to be helpful and healthy, and be an experience you can learn from. So let's really look at, what are the reasons you're doing things. In this, always do your best. This also, in addition to taking out the other people that you may be trying to show all the stuff you're trying to do, it takes away also the focus on being rough on yourself, because we're all people, we're all human, we're all imperfect. So therefore, with the limits that we have, we need to be mindful that it is almost impossible for us to be able to go through without any snag in life. Almost impossible. Okay. Not saying it's impossible, because anything is possible. But when we hit a snag, it doesn't mean that it's because of something we're missing. Sometimes those snags that we hit in life, really, they're coming because, since we won't stop and take a minute and reflect and look at what you've learned and looked at what you gained, and look at, any possible growth or anything that needs to be reassessed, that's life causing us to say, okay, now take a minute, take a break. Now let's take a breather and let's look at everything that has happened to now. Let's look at where you're trying to go. Let's look at, is there anything that you've learned? Is there anything that needs to be changed? Is there anything that needs to be let go of in this time? That's what those pauses in life are meant for. That's what they do. Now, with always do your best, being mindful of the words and the thinking that you have for yourself. If you are being abusive to yourself, then how can you expect, I'm bringing up expectations again, how can you expect that your interaction with someone else will be different? How can you expect that someone else will respect you if you're abusing yourself? because people will interact with us the way we interact, the way they see us interact with ourselves. So if you're making self-deprecating remarks about yourself, then that tells the other person, oh, shoot, they don't care. Why should I care? So therefore, I'm gonna interact with them about the same way. All unnecessary chaos and drama. Another thing to look at with always do your best. When we are in this moment and we're looking at this moment and we're thinking about, hey, this is what I've learned. This is what I need to improve or change. This is what I may need to add in. This is what I may need to let go of. And this is my goal. So let's look at my next step. It takes away the opportunity for regret to come in. Oftentimes, what we do as people is we move so fast and we miss so much in that fast movement that we regret so much. Oh, dang, I remember, when I was at this stage in my life, I could have been doing this. I could have been doing that. I could have, in this relationship, I could have done this. I could have done that. But it's because we didn't take those times to stop and reflect. That's why I encourage people, if you can, several times a day, of course, stop, reflect, meditate, look at how the day is going, how your interactions are going, what's going on with you. If you can't do that several times a day, at least at the end of the day, reflect on the day. Look at any opportunities that you feel like, dang, I missed this today. What can I do so I don't miss it tomorrow? Because what that does is it takes away those big pockets of regret that some of us have either experienced in the past or may be experiencing now. So please, 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 I encourage you to go get the book. I tell everybody to read the book and take it a chunk at a time, literally. Because once you get in there, you're going to get mad and you're going to feel like Mr. Ruiz is talking to you directly and all in your business. But don't take it personal. Use it as growth. Anytime it hurts, that means growth is happening. You're taking up a weed and planting something positive there. All right. Well, I want to thank you all today so much for tuning in to Emerging Ease. I hope that today's discussion has been and will continue to always be helpful for you in your life's journey. And you are listening to Emerging Ease with Keisha on the Batchelor News Radio Network.
Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you for taking such a time as this to participate in your personal improvement with Emerging Ease. I'm Keisha, your host. Remember that in everything, there's an opportunity to learn and grow. If you are experiencing a difficult time, please reach out to the National Crisis Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. And I look forward to hearing from you next week on Emerging Ease with Keisha.